So we are here at the Black Hack 2nd edition of just a random playtest that I wanted to run on the spur of the moment. We have 3 players who will be playing 3 of the 4 classes, and I will actually mention it now. We should probably name your characters, so if you haven't already, think about that for a second. And you are all leaving a village called... I don't know what it's called. It'll be called... I'm looking for random generators. This is not really a name generator. So it is just a local village. I should have pulled up a random name generator first.
The village locale.
Yes,
That's what it's called.
Locale.
It's called locale.
Locale. So, yes, the village locale, which is a pretty medium-sized village, and you're all adventurers. If we introduce very quickly our warrior, if it looks like you have a name.
I do. I am Eric the Broken. I am adventuring to bring up my reputation after... Well, you see, I got drunk one too many times, and I may or may not have got into a bar brawl with the mayor's son.
And this is a chance for you to redeem yourself, because there's a hefty bounty that's been put out. So you and your companions, and we'll swing the camera over to look at our thief.
The name is Ark in the Shadow. I'm an enigma. If you see me, no you haven't.
On that note, maybe we should have you roll that, or just do it. You don't have to roll. No, I think you do roll a 1d10. Okay. So for your companions, you look the same as you did yesterday, but because you're technically level 1, I just realized. So that doesn't... Your deep and murky past currently remains the same. But as you both are strutting out next to each other, just taking up the rear, we see our wizard.
The wizard, whose name is Thessalia, who looks a little bit confused why she's here, is like reading a letter that was like, "Hey, go to the village locale," and she looks lost, but she's in the right place, you know. And she just keeps looking down at her little toady friend, like, well, WTF, mate?
And what is your toad's familiar? What is its name?
No, I'm literally on a name generator for right now, and I just haven't found one that I like yet. Name is Todd. Todd the Toad.
Todd the Toad.
Yep.
So, you all know each other, whether it's through a shared past, somehow, with the thief's deep and murky past. It's maybe somehow you've crossed paths before, or maybe your relatives or something, or just an adventuring troupe, or maybe it's that you all have one of those letters. They're all signed mysteriously, and saying go to the village locale to begin this quest. And upon going there, Eric, you said you accidentally beat someone up?
Yes, I may or may not have accidentally ruined my reputation by getting into a drunken bar brawl with the mayor's son.
Yes. Well, the mayor is...
reputation, it's fine.
The mayor,
My reputation.
You are almost arrested, but because you have these letters, you are all sent out to the local dungeon, where there's a mischievous black wizard named Axrek, who's going to who's sworn vengeance upon the town because he also was a troublemaker and was kicked out. So,
Real quick, if you'd like to see the image I have, I put it on the screen if you'd like to enlarge it to get an idea of Arkin the Shadow.
let me...
It's just below the map.
Oh, it's under the map. Got it. I just opened your character sheet and I see it. Yeah, that's definitely very thiefy. I love it. That's
2 sword, black cloak and hood, like
literally no face at all. Like just it's a
hence
an
Arkin the Shadow.
enigma. Fantastic.
If you saw me, no, you didn't.
So as you are all traveling together, you begin to pass through the darkened wood, and I will have this would be a check, which is I'd say wisdom for like trying to navigate through like a survival, if you will. So who's taking point?
I mean, I'm pretty good at wisdom, if that matters.
Sure. You want to kind of lead the way and roll a wisdom check. For this, you'll want to roll underneath your wisdom score, just with a 1d20.
Wait, so roll a d20.
Yes, and then you want to roll low in this game.
I rolled a 2.
I will take a guess that passes underneath your wisdom.
Yeah, my wisdom is 15.
Very, very good. So, yeah, what you hear in the distance as you are navigating your way through the forest, you hear the sounds of talking in the forest. Just these whispering voices, kind of muffled by the foliage and stuff as you are moving through. The sun is blurred out amongst the tree canopy, and as you enter into the dark forest, you get an ominous presence, a feeling like there's a dark presence surrounding you. Even though none of you are clerics, you have this kind of chill, heavy feeling as you're moving.
I feel like if we had a cleric here, they would know more of what's going on. But we don't, so it's fine.
Then I would like to move silently and unseen.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a dexterity check for that. And you'd have advantage on this, actually, because this is one of your roguish talents.
Okay. Hey, success.
Okay, perfect. So your rogue friend Arkin is there, and then you see him, and then you don't, and he is blended into the darkness around you into the tree line. You are confident, however, Thessalia. That's Thessalia, right?
Thessalia.
How do you spell that?
Thessalia.
Perfect. So, Thessalia, you are confident that from your directions from the mayor, you're moving up towards this dungeon, this cave system, and the mountains just beyond the edge of the forest. You are confident you are leading the group in the right place. However,
which is wild because Thessalia is never confident about anything. She's faking it real well.
And the voices kind of murmuring and whispering around you is ever present. For Eric, you are probably the biggest out of the three. As you're moving, you also hear these noises, and Arkin beside you kind of disappears, blending into the shadows. What do you do, if anything, or just follow along?
He will, let's see, what did I jot down? He will pull his longsword with his shield strapped onto his other hand. And he will say, "Oh, evildoers within these woods. It is time for a fight, my dear wizard." And he will just openly walk in the direction of the voices.
Oh my god.
Okay. So roll a perception.
What do you... Eric! Eric!
I think for perception, this would also kind of be wisdom still.
Okay.
And even though he's not seeing, Arkin is just shaking his head.
That is a fail. That is a 19, but it's appropriate.
Yeah, so you draw this big blade. Will you do? Is there anything special about the blade, or does it look just fairly?
It is a. I imagine it is a. Eric the Broken has not seen work in some time, so it may be a rather unused blade. He hasn't taken up time to oil it. It may have rust on it, but he uses that to his advantage. But what is unique with him is on his shield that is strapped to his arm, it has a symbol, and that symbol, which I actually drew out on my piece of paper,
Oh, that's cool.
it is a square, essentially, with on each corner of the square are like sharp, jagged teeth jutting out.
Ooh, that's cool.
Kind of similar to the dragon tooth pendant he wears around one of his helmet's horns.
You're really dragon themed. Or like tooth themed?
And he does wear a scale tunic.
It's fair. He's a dragon knight. You draw this blade and you're like, it's time for a fight. And as you kind of like look left and look right, you hear these murmurings and whispers coming from all around you. There's not specifically one direction. It's front, it's back, it's left, it's right, it's up. It's only direction it's not is like at your feet. So you kind of look around, bewildered.
He just lets out a shout, saying, "Show yourself, villain, and face thine death," as he just swings into some of the bushes.
Roll a
Or we can just like talk about it.
roll a charisma check really quick, Eric. And then at this, both Arkin and Thessalia both roll perception, wisdoms. Roll under your wisdoms if you can.
Oh, I rolled a 1.
Ooh, that is a critical success with a natural 1, which is very backwards from D&D.
I don't suppose it would fall under
The
listening
fact that
and eavesdropping.
The fact that I notoriously roll low has become my victory.
This is the game for you.
I got an 11 over a 7 for my charisma. I failed.
Okay, so you like hold the blade out and like turn in a line, and this would make a really good, cool like cartoon shot with the big sword like spinning. But nobody seems to like step out to accept your challenge. However, for Arkin, if you haven't rolled again, go ahead, because yes, it would fall under your delicate task or your roguish talent. But for
Oh, nope.
still nothing. So you're
It'd be nice if it was D&D. Those are good rolls.
you're kind of still spying from the shadows, but you are not seeing anything to match up with these voices. Unlike Thessalia, who is accustomed or a little bit more in tune with like the spirits and the magic of this realm, and being a wizard, you can tell that there's some sort of spell on this forest, the Darkenwood.
Guys, it's magic.
And with your natural 1, you can see for a second the flitter of the spirits of the forest kind of swirling around Eric specifically.
Guys, it's a little bit trippy, but like there's spirits here. I don't know when I turned into like this kind of girl, but I guess this is who I am now.
Yeah, you see these spirits kind of swirling around Eric, and they seem to be not laughing or mocking, but kind of mocking and kind of muttering to themselves that this warrior is challenging us. He has no idea what he is dealing with. And for everybody else, these whispers are kind of just barely audible, and like you can't decipher the words, but you get that. You all hear that.
And Eric's just shouting out over and over, "Come at thee, villain!" and is swinging at the bushes again.
I help to point out what he could swing at if he's just going to continue swinging.
Yes. You can try to point it out. That would give him an advantage on a wisdom check for him to be
Okay.
able to see.
They're actually over there. And I point in whatever the opposite direction of where you were swinging.
Are you trying to actually help him or get him to like?
I just wanted to make fun of him for being in the wrong direction. I want to actually help him.
Okay. Okay. So
So is that a wisdom?
yeah, roll a wisdom check again with advantage.
Both rolls were a 2 under
Ooh.
13.
So with the assistance from your wizard, you look around and kind of look up, and you can see the forms of these wild spirits swirling about you for a moment, and yeah, you see them begin to manifest and kind of assemble together and just prepping to attack you for a moment, and just the next moment. And I will have us roll initiative very quickly. You're going to roll dexterity or intelligence, if I remember correctly.
Interesting. Okay.
It's a 2.
So it's a pass-fail, so...
I got a 17 over my dexterity.
I got a 3. You said it's either dexterity or intelligence?
Yeah, you'd roll under your better one, I believe. I'm actually trying to double-check that, but that's pretty much the way it works in Mecha Hack, so I'm assuming
I rolled
the same.
a 3, and all of my stats are more than a 3, so...
Yeah, so you'd be fine. So both Arcan from the shadows, as they begin to take shape, kind of breaking the ethereal into the real world, both Arcan and Thessalia, you can both take an action and take a turn before they are able to act.
Ooh. Can I just, like, bonk it with my angry goblin head?
Yeah, if you want to, just like a physical swing your goblin head attack.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do.
Okay, so it'll be a strength to swing an attack. But this goblin head will give it the 1d4 damage if you hit it.
Is it like I'm really hoping, because I'm picturing it to be like one of those Harry Potter shrunken heads. You swing the goblin head, and the entire time it's screaming.
I mean, that's sort of what I was imagining as well. I rolled an 8, and my strength is a 7.
So
I was so close.
So you swing, and it's a little too fast, honestly, as the thing hasn't completely transferred from being its invisible spirit form into more of a physical. So your head just swings right through the ghost.
I don't really imagine it as alive, but I would like to imagine that the goblin head is continuing to be angry, but now it's angry at me for not even hitting.
Yes.
The heck was that?
So as you kind of move forwards and swing it, the goblin head just, its frustrated mouth hanging open. The spirits are not impeded. Arcan.
Can I sneak up behind it?
You can definitely try. That would be your thief ability, which is dexterity, and then that would be at an advantage.
Good thing for advantage. 4.
Okay. So you scramble nimbly through the thickets until you get to the opposite side. So you're kind of like flanking these spirits, with Eric on the one side, then you on the other. What would you like to do?
And sneak attack. If a thief has moved silently to get behind a creature and they are unaware of the thief's presence, the thief may make an attack that automatically hits and deals 2d6 plus the thief's level damage.
Okay. So make a strength.
Strength?
Yeah, and that would be at advantage, I believe, because it doesn't see you.
Okay. And for
Wait, hold
advantage...
on. Make an attack that automatically hits. So yeah, you
Yes.
don't need to roll. Sorry, my mistake for that. So you deal 2d6 plus 1. So go ahead and roll just straight the damage.
Okay, 2d6. 7.
7 is going to be plenty, but I need to get the exact amount, what the hit dice translates to. 1 second. How do I get its hit points? Okay, well, that's going to... You said 7 damage?
Yep.
We'll say that kills 2 of these things as you just
Plus
stab through
1, so it'd be 8.
8. So, yeah, that will kill 2 of these still, as you just stab it and yank the blade down through the spirits, and the sprites just kind of screech and dissipate, but there is still a couple more of them still, and they are going to try to attack Eric. So if you can roll 2 dexterity checks, please.
I sure can. Okay, 2 dexterity checks. The first one is an 11, which is my dexterity.
So that would fail if it meets.
Yes, and then the second is a 1.
Okay, that is a critical success. So for the first one, do you want to use any of your armor to negate any damage?
I would like to, yes.
Okay, so you would roll either... I think you can choose 1, 2, or 3 of your your shield dice to negate the incoming damage. But I think if they roll a 1, then they get broken or something like that. Kind of like how reactor dice worked.
Yeah, so my scale tunic gives me 2 armor value, and then my large shield gives me 1 armor die.
That should be all the same thing, no? Or does it actually specifically
Because there's AV, and there's armor die. Which I imagine is armor value, and then...
I thought armor value and armor dice were the same thing. Okay, if a character wears armor that is not listed in their class, they should add its armor value to the d20 result when making any attribute tests. But if this is in your armor class list, because you can wear any and all armor, so I don't think that actually affects you. So you just have it as armor, I think. So I think let's just go with what I thought it was, where you have 3 dice if you want. So you can either roll with the shield as well, and then that's kind of the gamble. If the more dice you roll, the more chances of getting a 1. And I will tell you, these things are only dealing 1d4 damage, so it will be up to you if you want to just throw all your armor at the negation or not.
I will roll with my scale tunic, my actual armor.
Okay, so you just kind of hold out your chest and take the damage, which is 4. So roll your 2 dice for the armor.
What do I roll for that?
I think they're always d6.
D6, okay. I roll twice. No, I can roll 2 d6 here. I can just snag one of the many other d6s that I have directly in front of me. That is unfortunately a 1 and then a 4.
Okay, so you don't take any actual physical damage, but as the spirit kind of it shoots into you, like its ghost form ramming into you, and as it does so, like it snaps some of like the metal, or you've got hide armor, right? The scales.
Scale, yeah.
So like there's kind of the impact against you blows a big chunk of the scales into the air as they're dislodged from the armor plating, leaving just this open, like handprint-sized space that's no longer scaled on your chest. But you don't take any damage from the actual ghost's attack, and then it is your turn.
And when it attacks, because I rolled a 1 on one of my defenses, when it attacks me, Eric goes, "Worthy foe you make, spirit of the woods," and he smashes it with his shield and deals 1 damage with his shield bash.
Nice. And if we go back, Arkan, you dealt 8 points, right? 7 plus
Correct.
1. So with 1 more hit point, the third spirit, and there was 4. I don't know if I said that, but there are 4 spirits. But the third spirit, Arkan, you shield bash it into oblivion and just kind of it dissipates into wisps of spirit dust. And that leaves just 1 more, which is floating about you, flittering and growling now.
So a warrior has a pool of damage dice, which are d6s equal to their HD, equal to their hit dice, which is I have 1 d8. Does that mean I don't get 8 d6s?
No, you'd get 1.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. So your hit die is 1d8. So your damage dice.
And I have a pool of damage dice equal to the hit dice, equal to the HD.
Okay, so your attack damage is 1d6, I think.
Okay.
So it's basically you would have 1 attack at level 1.
Mm-hmm. And when making an attack, distribute any number of these damage dice amongst any number of nearby targets, which is 1, the spirit. And it is hovering around me, you said?
Yes. It is in close range.
For each target, the warrior assigns the damage dice, and the player must come up with an exciting narration for the attack. Make an attribute test for each target to see if it hits. If so, roll the damage dice assigned to it and reduce the HP by that amount. The pool of damage dice resets at the start of the warrior's turn.
Okay, so you'd roll a strength for the attack and then take it from there.
So I'm going to make my epic narration. As this last spirit is flittering around, Eric holds out his longsword and shield and says, "Have at thee, villain!" and charges it and does like a jumping slash midair. This large man does a jumping slash. He leaps off the dirt of the woods and goes to cut the spirit down, making it even deader than it is.
Excellent.
So a strength. Okay. That is a 6 under 13.
Awesome. So roll the 1d6.
Roll the 1d6. 3.
And that's just enough to slice it into another oblivion. So the dust settles, the whispers stop, as Thessalia, Eric, and Arkan, you kind of pause and look at each other. It does seem indeed that these...
Thessalia hits her shrunken head to get it to stop screaming. Like, shh, stop it. We're done now.
How about you roll a charisma check for that?
Oh, it's an 8 and my charisma's 7.
So it's you seem to kind of get it to stop for just a second, like a baby is starting to stop crying, and as soon as you like let it hang back down, it starts screaming again.
I'm just gonna like hold my hands over its mouth to muffle its screaming.
Perhaps a good cup of drink is needed after such a worthy fight. I could go for a nice cold cup of ale.
I think that sounds like a good idea, but I think we're supposed to be doing something? Was that it? Did we just do it?
with your natural one from earlier, you know, you were supposed to get through the darkened wood to find this cave where this wizard who's cursed or tried to swear vengeance on the village is. And
We're looking for the wizard. Sorry, I'm trying to put my sweater on, and my headphones just fell off. Ah!
The goblin head starts screaming as you do so. Because your wizard must be cold in this forest.
Yeah, it's just cold, and I'm not very big. I am not strong. I am not Dex. I am just little Wiz.
You see, I am already looking at a wizard.
Oh no, but I'm not the wizard. I'm pretty sure it's my great uncle Steve. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it might be my great uncle Steve.
Why does this great uncle Steve try to curse our good village? Our good village holds many ales. Perhaps he just needs a drink.
I mean, maybe. Steve's just an asshole.
Then a worthy fight he
Everyone
shall
has
make.
one of
Come,
Everyone
dear
has
wizard.
one of those uncles, right?
And Eric's gonna like slap his armor onto your shoulder and say, "Come, dear wizard, let us go pay Uncle Steve a visit."
I mean, I don't know for sure if it's Uncle Steve. For the record, my legs are little as I'm like trying to follow after you.
He's essentially he's like trying to drag you along. He points his longsword forward. He just picks a direction, and he's just armor on shoulder, and is just dragging you along.
I was really confident about what the right direction was earlier.
Do you try to like steer him in the right direction for where you know it is?
I'm going to fade into the shadows and follow along.
I don't even think I need to make you roll for that. Does Eric follow Thessalia's subtle directions, or do you just ignore?
Can I roll wisdom?
Sure.
I want to see if I can sniff it out. Because he's just gonna walk. Nope. He picked a direction and he's just going.
So Thessalia, you know it is in fact the wrong direction.
I'm gonna like grind my feet into the ground and try to be like a rudder to try to like turn him to the correct direction.
Eric, you want to have advantage on it?
Sure. So is that another roll?
Yes.
That is a 10 under 13 for wisdom.
Ooh.
Okay. So you begin to veer back in the correct direction with your friend's help, and you also notice as you are making those important turns that you are avoiding the bog that lied ahead, where you were definitely heading previously.
He is not realizing that the dear wizard is helping him, and he's sniffing the air. He's, "Ah, yes, I smell evil this way. Come, dear wizard. We shall smite your Uncle Steve in a worthy fight."
I don't even know if it's my Uncle Steve, but, you know, if we're looking for asshole wizards, you know, he's up there, you know?
"Uncle Steve shall pay his dues, and he shall fight me one-on-one, so I may redeem myself in glorious combat."
Uncle Steve has already paid his dues. He's with the Wizard Union. And he definitely pays his union dues.
Will we come to tax him again?
Wait, why do we have the right to tax?
Because we are adventurers, dear wizard. We have the right to do quite a lot.
Oh. We should, look into that. Not right now, though. Let's go!
Yeah, as
Uncle Steve!
You break through an outcropping and you see a very steep rock slope as you are at the base of this giant mountain ledge. And in the front, or not the front, but like the middle of the mountain, maybe it's 30, 40 feet up in the air, is a pretty wide cave opening. And standing at the entrance to the cave are two skeletal figures, just propped up against the stone, looking deadly into the forest, and you can see they're holding spears in each of their hands.
Can I try to make my angry head like a puppet and be like, "Hey, scaly guys, I'm also a deadhead. We're looking for a wizard. Is there a wizard here?"
You can. That would be a charisma, and I'll give you advantage because that's kind of amazing.
While I'm in the shadows, I draw one of my daggers for every occasion cut out of who knows where,
I rolled
ready
a 6
to
and my
throw.
charisma is 7.
That's enough.
Woohoo!
Woo!
So you hold the puppet head up, which has just stopped screaming recently as you break out of the forest, and you make it shout up, asking if there's a wizard. The skeletons look down at you and kind of like lift their spears, almost like javelins, but then stop as you say that, and then they kind of reset and just nod, and one of them points behind him to the cave.
Still with my wizard, or my shrunken head. Okay, can we come in then?
With the success from the previous roll, they just kind of reset back to guard position. They do not say anything, but they seem to have stood down.
Nice. Guys, let's go. In classic me fashion, I bullshitted my way through it.
Who are you talking to, dear wizard?
I mean, I wasn't talking. That was Gobbo the Goblin Head talking. And Gobbo the Goblin Head just got us the ticket in, so let's go before they
My
change their mind.
apologies, the most holiness of goblin heads. Who are you talking to?
Continuing to use the puppet. I was talking to the Skelly Boys. Let's go!
This is the dumbest charade ever. I love it.
The dumbest
Wonderful.
charade
I haven't
so
seen
far.
skeletons in so long. You know, my grandmother's probably a skeleton.
Is your grandmother dead? I mean,
Yes,
even
quite.
if your grandmother's not dead, your grandmother would still have a skeleton. Like, I
Yes,
have
no,
a skeleton.
She is quite dead, dear wizard.
Oh, okay, sorry. If I was a necromancer, I'd try to help, but I'm not. I'm really not that.
Perhaps Uncle Steve.
That's rough, buddy.
Oh, this voice
All
from
right.
nowhere says from next to you.
You gave me a heart attack. Let's go. And we enter the cave? Question mark.
You walk up to the cliff and then it's like 30 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
It's very, very steep. You could try to climb it, or you could try to do whatever you want to try.
Hello, Mr. Skeletons. Do you have a ladder?
I'm apparently actually good at climbing.
The two skeletons lean over the edge and look down at you, and then they look at each other, and then they just go back to their positions.
I do not think they have a ladder.
I mean, that would be very Uncle Steve. But again, I don't know if it's Uncle Steve. It could be another evil wizard.
Do you know of other evil wizards?
I mean, I don't know them personally, but it's not like all wizards know each other.
It is
That's
likely Uncle
racist.
Steve.
I'm gonna start climbing.
Okay, roll I think it's dexterity check for that.
And it's one of my skills.
Yep, so with advantage.
Just in case. So 12.
12 is going to pass. You rock climb one foot, the other foot, handhold here, handhold there, 30 feet up, and you get to the top, and the skeletons are just kind of like looking down, watching you climb up. Their heads turn from time to time as if they would be talking, but they're dead skeletons, so they aren't. But they just let you kind of climb up to the top, and then just are staring at you from either side. You are now flanked by two skelly boys.
Flanked by two Skelly Boys.
Do they look like they are going to attack, or are they just watching?
They look like they are no longer concerned about you.
Okay, so just kind of give a tilt of the hood, gents, and I just continue walking.
Are you going inside the cave? Inside the cave, it is black, and the light of day quickly will turn to nothingness. How far in do you want to go?
I will wait inside the mouth of the cave.
Okay.
You just you hear a shout from down below. My dear thief, do you see a ladder?
He's face palming up top in the cave.
You do see a coiled rope, but there's no ladder.
The rope just comes, like it. He makes sure it's secured, and then the rope just comes flying down over the cliffside.
Okay. Really quick, roll a wisdom check, as you might notice or not notice.
Oh,
Interesting.
that's not good.
No.
Is it considered a delicate task?
No. It is simply the two skeletons' behaviors, but they that you do not notice them doing anything as you unfurl the rope down. And for Eric and Thessalia at the bottom, the rope falls down, and it's knotted every foot or so, so should make climbing up a lot easier. Should you wish to try to climb
I'm gonna go for it.
it will be
I'm gonna go for it.
a dexterity check with advantage from the rope.
Oh! I was scared for a second because I saw that I'd rolled a 19 on one of the dice, but then I realized I rolled a 2 on the other one.
Very close, and you realize for a second as you're almost to the top and you slip for a second, if you were to fall, this might deal some damage from this height. So it's a good thing you didn't fall with your current hit point situation. But yeah, you get up to the top and you notice the two skeletons standing again. Actually, I think Arkin is back to hiding and moving unseen. So probably you don't see him. But the skeletons just kind of like shrug at each other again and stand guard uselessly.
Hey, Skelly peeps. Sorry to,
They shrug.
Skelly gender.
While you were all likely already climbing, Eric sees the rope. You're probably halfway up, and he's trying to talk to you. He doesn't notice that you've gone. He's like closing his eyes, and he goes, if you think about it, a rope is a kind of ladder. And then he looks around, sees that you're gone, and goes, oh, dear wizard, where have you gone? Oh, wizard, where are you? Oh, curse you, Uncle Steve. I will avenge my dear wizard's death by your hands. And then he goes to climb the rope.
So real quick, the wizard might hear the sound of a smacking, like skin smacking skin, as the roach just face palms again, as the thief face palms.
Can I look down at that sound?
Yeah, roll a wisdom check. It'd be like a perception.
Oh, that was a very exciting roll. It bounced off a couple of things and looked like it's a 3. My whiz is a 15.
Yeah. Arkin, roll your stealth for Dex.
Good thing it's advantage, yeah.
You're rolling a lot of natural 20s.
7.
So I think,
You bet.
yeah, Thessalia, you see him squished up against the wall, looking very, very invisible, but you said you rolled a 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 under 7, so you see him.
I'm gonna pretend I don't, because I can tell that he's trying to be sneaky, and I don't want to hurt his feelings.
For Eric, you're... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The sound of the facepalm would definitely give him away, I'm sure.
Sure, but she knows you're doing your best, sweetie. You're
mean-
so good at hiding.
He was more of waiting for them, but he might as well be stealthy while waiting.
Sure. She's going to like actively not look in that direction in a suspiciously like you have to know something's there to not look in that direction, kind of. She's just being patronizing.
So
She's gonna like double check that her fighty friend is coming up the ladder, and is gonna like wave when she sees him climbing up.
So, Eric, this will be your turn for the roll. If you're going to try to climb up, normally I think this would be actually fine to do strength or dexterity. The more I think about it, so I will leave it to your choice.
I would love to do strength.
Strong.
I am quite strong. Was there advantage because of rope, or is it
Yes.
just a straight?
No, it's advantage
Okay.
with rope.
Oh boy, those are both fails.
Okay. So, Eric, you're very strong, right? What's your
Yes.
score?
It is it is 13.
Okay, so you begin to like pull yourself just with your arms, not climbing with your legs or anything. So it's like 100% weight, arm up, arm up, arm up, and you get about halfway before the mechanism the rope is tied to, which is kind of an old wooden like spinning wheel type thing that you can crank the rope up and down on. It snaps and the boards that is connected to break, and the whole device comes flying off the cliff between the two skeletons, and you begin to fall back to the ground. I am going to roll 1d4 damage, and you can absorb this with armor if you wish.
I would love to. I imagine what happens is the wizard peers over the edge to say hi. Eric goes, "Oh dear wizard, I thought your Uncle Steve killed you." Whoa!
Smash.
I killed Mufasa.
Her attempt to like wave hello actually added to the distraction.
Alright, so that is a d6 for my armor, right?
Yes. If you're using just your armor, it's the 1d6, and then if you roll the 1, then it breaks the rest of your armor.
Okay, here we go. That is a 6.
Okay, so you take no damage, and your armor survives, and you kind of thud onto your back. Not pleasant, but you're unhurt, thankfully.
I was gonna say, not even caring about himself, he shouts back up, "Wizard, are you okay? How are you alive? I thought your Uncle Steve killed you. You weren't here when I looked around."
I thought we were climbing up. I'm sorry, friend. This is my favorite friendship ever, for the record.
Can you just double check that there isn't a ladder?
Sure. Can I look around for any more ladders, ropes, or anything that I could use to help?
You can roll up perception, wisdom.
No.
It does not seem like there's any.
The temptation to give the skeletons a shove over the side to help make a bone ladder.
I don't think shoving them off the side would make a bone ladder. Hey guys, do you think like maybe if like you know how you sometimes see people like they'll like go on up on each other's shoulders, like you'll see like army guys like make like a ladder of themselves, or like sometimes in cartoons people will like hang off a cliff by like holding onto each other's feet. Can we do that like with you guys? Like if I'm at wait, how strong are you? I'm not very strong. She looks over at Archon. I could hold at the top. Maybe we could both hold at the top and then like have our skelly friends could like reach down and this'll totally work because we're in a cartoon, right?
What are cartoons?
Oh, they're magic. I forgot that not everyone knows about them. It's like you're reading a book, but the pictures move. They're a classic wizard story. I remember my Uncle Steve reading cartoons to me.
Well, he doesn't sound that evil then.
Well, I mean, like, nobody's evil to a 2-year-old unless they're trying to kill them, you know?
So is that a no on the ladder?
Yeah, there's no ladders up here.
The entire time he's shouting at you, if you looked over, he hasn't gotten up yet. He's still just lying on his back.
Thessalia, go ahead.
It would be so funny if this roll works and it becomes true. Can I look around to see if there's just like a walkway up?
You could roll wisdom, yeah.
Nope.
Damn it.
Thessalia, were you talking mostly to Eric in that conversation, or were you addressing the skeletons at all?
I mean, I was mostly being silly, but if the skeletons were willing to hear any of it, then I could be trying to convince the skeletons to be helpful.
They do look like they were paying attention, but they don't have the ability to speak.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can I, like, yes or no question, like, hey, could you help my friend get up? And then they could, like, shake or nod or something.
Yeah, they look down and then they just shrug.
Yeah, that makes sense. How do we get Eric the Broken up here?
Eric would like to, he'd like to run back, not run, but he's gonna like dust himself off and walk back to the wood's edge. And he's gonna, the entire time they're talking up there, he's gonna ready himself. He does not skip leg day. His legs are buff. He's gonna get a sprinting head start to try and jump on the side of this cliff.
Okay. This will be a strength.
Okay. So I imagine, like, the entire time they're talking with the skeleton, he's just walking back to the edge of the woods. They look back, he's in the middle of a sprint.
In slow motion.
Well, that doesn't look like it'll end well.
And it won't. That is an 18 over a 13.
So you kind of, like, jump up onto the wall, and you are able to start climbing up. You want to continue?
I mean, he's certainly gonna try.
Okay, you get about halfway, and then the rock gives way, and you fall back down. This will be -1.
I just imagine him George with the jungling it.
That was not supposed to roll 2, so it'd be the first one -1. So you'll take 2 points of damage, or you can try to absorb with your armor.
I will try and absorb. That is a 2.
Okay, that absorbs 2 points, which is what it was. You take no damage, but thud on your back again.
You just hear shouting, this cursed cliffside is the most evil villain I have ever encountered. It must be the works of your Uncle Steve, dear wizard.
The skeletons, one of them taps Thessalia on the shoulder.
I'm gonna look over and I'm gonna look inquisitively as to why I have been tapped on the shoulder.
It kind of squats down so it's eye level with your shrunken head, and then like points down at Eric at the bottom of the cliff, and then shrugs. And then points at the ground, and then down at Eric, and then down at the ground. Like the ground you're standing on at the top.
Right, right. I don't speak skeleton. I'm gonna look at Arcan and be like, It lets out a big
sigh, like, except it's silent because there's no lungs or anything, but like
The
body
image
like
of it is
rolls
just
back and then it stands up and starts begins to like almost talk with the other skeleton for a second, but again no words, and then it starts to walk into the cave, leaving only one guard.
Oh.
You know, my grandmother speaks skeleton, if we can get her here.
I thought your grandmother was dead.
She is. She's a skeleton.
Oh,
I've told
wait,
you the
that's-
steel wizard.
Great, sorry, I forgot. I was putting two and two together. I'm not that smart. She has confidence
Hey.
issues, you know?
I blame Uncle Steve for rotting your mind with these cartoons.
Okay. Okay, so something about angry screaming head, ground, friend, ground? Anyone got any ideas? What this means?
Would that be intelligence or wisdom to try to figure out what they're trying to say?
I would let either action. Oh, hold on. Let me look at the stat. What they're best for. Intelligence is knowledge, judgment versus cunning and perception. I'd say intelligence. Deciphering
let's
our.
see.
Can I also roll intelligence?
Success.
Yes.
Never mind. He's got it. He's got a
I
success.
got a
I'm not gonna.
6.
I'm not gonna ruin his success.
You assume that he's like was asking, do you want Eric to get up here? Do you like need help? Something like that.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
I do need help. Maybe he went to go get help? Let's just assume he went to go get help. I'm just gonna like sit here and pull out Todd and I'm just gonna start giving Todd a pedicure because I don't know what else to do.
Todd
has
has
a
human
leg.
feet. Wait,
So
does he have
sorry.
human legs and toad feet?
I assumed human feet came with the human legs, but I don't actually know.
Because if you
What
think
a-
about it, it could be either way.
What a thing you just said. I assume the human feet come with human legs on a toad. What a thing that you just said.
There. Just random tokens I've got in here. You're significantly more clothed, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you guys just wait and do nothing, the other skeleton begins to come out with 4 more skeletons.
Oh wow! Are they gonna do the cartoon thing?
Skeleton.
Yeah.
I estimate that your arm to arm length is about 5 feet, maybe a little bit less. And they will start doing what you're talking about earlier, and like
Oh,
just
yeah.
start. They'll
Fuck
go
that.
down. Actually, I'll
Oh
make
god,
this more
this is
vertical.
all I've ever wanted. Guys, I'm so overjoyed by Skeleton Ladder.
Yeah, you guys can be at the top, and then they like start hanging down. And
We're
Eric
sending you
is at
down
the
a
bottom.
ladder for you.
I'm gonna pretend that I'm helping by trying to support the top, acknowledging that I'm not super good at that, but I want to pretend to be helpful.
Okay, the skeleton does not seem to like look at you directly, or I forgot about your frog guy, but he doesn't seem to pay attention to that either. He seems to be looking at your goblin head mostly.
Because it was the goblin head that convinced them.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
Eric
It was Gobbo the
looks-
Goblin Head.
He looks at the skeleton ladder and goes to climb up again, and as he sees the skeletons, he says,
Ah, my dear skeletons, it is so kind of you to help. By chance, do any of you know of my grandmother?
They are like suspended, holding
Not
onto each other's hands. They look at each other.
Skeletons know each other. Not all wizards know each other.
Oh my.
You get no obvious response.
All right, well then Eric's gonna go climbing.
Okay.
And
You
they wonder why Arkin is an enigma.
you can roll with advantage on the strength check.
Okay. That is an 8 under a 13.
Okay. So, how do you climb up these 6 skeletons?
He just begins like grabbing onto pieces of like leather or armor that they're wearing and is just reaching and grabbing and climbing, putting his armored feet on like some of the elbows. And as he's climbing, he's just making casual talk with the skeletons, like,
My grandmother is quite a wonderful person. If any of you meet her, tell her I say hi. I think you would quite like her. She threw the greatest parties.
Still no real response. They begin to climb up over themselves afterwards. But as you get to the top, there's not much more room on this outcropping, and there's just the tunnel ahead. And as the skeletons begin to get up around you as well, you're more or less going to be forced into the tunnel.
as he climbs to the top, he says,
My dear friends, I believe we have an Uncle Steve to pay a visit to.
And he turns back to the skeletons and says,
My dear skeletons, you could find some really good work back at the village of Locale. You do not have to stand for Uncle Steve's heinous acts. The good villagers will pay you for your excellent work at laddering.
Roll a charisma check.
Okay.
Is Archon still visible?
Is what?
Is Archon still visible?
Yeah, that's a good
Or
question.
did he hide in the shadows again?
I mean, you might as well.
It's just that I want to lean over and be like, is there work for skeletons?
Well, here's the funny thing. I just got a 3 under a 7.
Hey!
The skeletons like look from one to the other, kind of shrug, and they seem to be communicating to each other, but they're all not. There's no verbal component to it, so it's all whatever they're doing. They seem to understand each other, and they all begin to like shrug one after another, and then one of them turns and points across darkened wood, and then they seem to be all talking. Do you interrupt or wait, or what do you all want to do?
He's just gonna say,
If you find your way to the village, tell them Eric the Broken sent you. They will pay you handsomely for your work.
Wait, Eric, aren't they mad at you for, like, bar fighting?
Tell them the dear wizard sent you, and you shall be paid good for your work.
Gobbo the Goblin Head. Tell them I sent you. No, Gobbo, you're not real. Oh, right, I'm sorry. And that's all just me doing ventriloquism, not actually the Goblin Head speaking up.
They begin to climb down one after another to the bottom of the. They leave the ledge unguarded. And
Goodbye, dear
they seem
skeletons.
to
Say
be.
hello to my grandmother.
Well, that just happened.
The troops go off into the woods, leaving you alone at the ledge and a dark tunnel inside.
They were quite friendly. I'm sure not as friendly as dreaded Uncle Steve. Let us face him.
So it's just a purely dark tunnel, right?
Yeah, it looks like a straightaway in, but dark.
Cool. I got nothing to help with that. I'm just gonna walk straight in, but like with a little bit of fear.
Eric, again, long sword directly pointed forward, shield in front of his chest. He just begins walking into the darkness and shouts out,
Uncle Steve, we have come for you.
So we're sending him first. Too bad we don't have like a light. We could just set up on top of his helmet.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's equipment because I'm surprised nobody has like any torches in their gear, or if we're supposed to have gone through equipment and we didn't. But I don't really see.
I mean, I have 13 coins, but I don't have any light. Because I
Yep,
didn't take the
same.
light spell.
Um. Yeah, I am. I'm not seeing any equipment list in here. Tools, quick reference, page 45. Equipment and economy 35. That's maybe I missed it.
I think it's just what your character starts with.
I think it's also kind of like how I've been doing the usage die for the Mecha Hat game. It looks like you can just roll for stuff, but it doesn't actually have a gear list. So yeah, if you guys want to have gotten a torch with one of your 13 coins, I don't mind just saying that you guys got that.
Sure.
Okay.
In equipment and economy, a common/cheap item, there are torches, and common cheap items cost 1d8 coins.
Okay, so let's you guys can both afford that. So if you want to have gotten at least one torch, or you can roll your d8 and see what your bargain was.
Grappling hook could be useful.
That would have been useful.
I rolled a 6, so I paid 6 coins for a torch.
Yeah, so you could afford 2 torches if you wanted. Or you could just buy 1 torch.
I'm gonna take out my torch.
Okay. So you light the tunnel, which is a valuable thing to do because, as you can see, this old tunnel is pretty uneven, and so there's outcroppings of rock that jut out into the walkway and stuff. You might have bonked your head and taken 1 point of damage here and there if you weren't able to see. And like tripping and falling and scraping yourselves on the rocks is not a fun time. But that the torch light is gonna be for 1 torch. It's enough to probably keep you guys all like in close proximity together, and then the shadows dance along the walls, and it's very limited in brightness, but it's enough for you to be able to see in kind of close range. So as you
Arkin will basically travel just outside of the light behind the party.
Okay.
To where he can see where he's going thanks to the light ahead of him. But that way he can still be stealthy and strike with a throwing dagger.
Okay.
As they're walking, and the light comes up, Eric, he's a loud man. He's making no note of stealth. He says,
Ah, good thinking, dear wizard. Now we can approach Uncle Steve in the light. Dear Mr. Thief, remain out of this light so that evil Uncle Steve does not know you are coming.
Yep. Roll a quick. Hold on, what would this be? I'll say charisma check for you.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
That is a 9 over a 7.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, your voice echoes through the cavern, through the tunnels. You can all roll perception checks, wisdoms.
Okay.
I got a 20.
I got a
got to
3. I got a 3 under a 13.
And a 5 is also a success. So, Eric's booming voice is like almost like drowning out anything else that you would be hearing with Thessalia. But for Arkin and Eric, you hear as you progress into the tunnel this click noise that kind of echoes through the chamber, and you also notice that as you turn down this passage where it's now turned more into like mine shaft, where there's more smoothed out flooring, reinforced walls with like wood beams and stuff. There's every now and then there's oil lanterns which are unlit. You can light them if you wish. And there's tracks in the center of the road, like where you're walking. And it seems there is a mine cart which is parked towards the beginning of this portion, and it is not full, but there's like some remnants of like just rock and some gravel and stuff in the bottom of it.
Are there any spiders in the minecart?
None that are like huge spiders, but yeah, there'd definitely be some just normal-sized spiders.
I'm going to take Todd out, and then immediately she remembers that like frogs eat bugs, and then doesn't remember whether toads eat bugs. And she's gonna like stare at Todd for a second, like, wait, do you want to eat those spiders or not?
Or do you want to keep them as a pet?
I'm pretty sure toads eat them, so
Eric turns around and looks at
The dear wizard, and says, you know, dear wizard, my great-grandfather once ate spiders. Perhaps your toad friend knows him.
I'm gonna look at Todd with like a long-suffering stare. But yeah, I just wanted to give Todd a snack of
Yep.
spiders.
He rubs his tummy and he is very happy.
Happy Todd. Can I ride in the minecart? Like, will it go somewhere?
Yeah, if you want to use the minecart to go further down the tunnel, you can. It's got like a big lever front, back, and then a brake in it.
Once Todd eats the spiders, I'm gonna hop in and be like, all right, let's go.
I feel like that's a bad idea.
Forward to adventure!
and he sprints into the cart.
Okay, if this is a bad idea, then what's a good idea look like?
So here's what I picture happening. Is we get into this cart, we write it down, and our friend here decides to pull the brakes, and the brakes become broken, causing the cart to careen further out of control, and either flying off the track into some abyss, or deadly lava, or, killing us all.
Okay, so what's your better plan? I didn't ask why this plan was dumb. I asked for a better plan.
You know,
Oh, I didn't say the plan was dumb. I just said I don't think it's a good idea.
you know, it is quite insulting
Look,
to speak of oneself like that, thief. Have more confidence in yourself. I believe you can work this cart just fine.
See, my rule with my mom and in my school was that you couldn't ever poo-poo somebody's idea unless you had a better idea. And it stopped people from just being negative without any positive reinforcement. So, do you have a better idea? Because we're willing to hear a better idea.
Are we sure that this is the direction we need to go, though, as well?
Is there a lever for the cart nearby?
It's in the cart.
Pull the lever.
Oh, it's in the cart. Okay.
Yeah. There's like a front, back, and a brake, like the e-brake, and the e-brake is currently down, and the lever is towards the deeper side of the tunnel.
Oh, my dear thief, you should believe in dear wizard's mother. I think you can manage this cart just fine.
Okay. I mean, if we want to attempt it, we can.
But Uncle Steve won't wait longer for us.
Well, let's go then.
So do you all get in the cart?
You only live once.
And do you take off the emergency brake?
Yeah.
The cart begins to launch forward, slowly at first, but very quickly gaining momentum as it begins to go through just following the rails, going down this two-way tunnel. You can go forwards or back, and then very quickly the lights on the walls are extinguished, like you're going down just to total blackness. Are you holding the torch aloft or kind of sheltering it within the minecart?
I feel like I would have grabbed one of the lanterns.
Okay, sure. Yeah, there were enough. You could have done that.
Because can't quite be stealthy in a minecart, so might as well use a lantern.
Okay, so the lantern will remain active so long as it's got the hood on it and the wind isn't going to extinguish it. How about for the torch, though? Do you want to try to keep it alight or just let it get doused?
I think like keeping some light is good? Question mark. What do y'all think?
I think Uncle Steve should see us coming, so we in turn can see the fear in his eyes.
So keeping it alight, I'll have Thessalia roll a dexterity check just to keep it shielded as your minecart is
Nope.
racing. Is that a
Big
fail?
ol' nope.
As Eric is saying that, the light douses and you're left with only the little oil lamp that Arkin holds. And the minecart kind of bounces and jerks left, jerks right, dives down, and it's quite the wild ride. Everybody roll a wisdom check, perception.
Ooh, I got a 1.
Nope. Not unless it entails listening.
I got a 9 underneath a 13.
Okay. You see, coming down from the opposite direction, a slight glow. I can't seem to spin this around. But there's another minecart coming head-on towards you. And there's a diabolical laugh coming from it. You're on a collision course.
Eric just holds his sword directly out in the direction of the laugh, and he shouts out,
Uncle Steve, we have come to vanquish you!
What?
Don't make me repeat myself, I am a great warrior! I do not repeat myself!
Is it Uncle Steve or is it just a wizard?
Roll a wisdom check to try to... Or intelligence, actually, or wisdom. I'll let you choose your choice.
It's okay, I rolled a 17, which is higher than either.
It's too... The wind is rushing too much for you to necessarily recognize the voice, but it definitely seems taken aback. The carts are on a collision course, though, so it should be just a few seconds before you're at each other.
I mean...
Do we want to go full speed and collide, or should we hit the brake?
Good
Full
question.
speed ahead! Uncle Steve won't know what hit him.
I mean, he'll know what hit him. It'll have been
Yes,
the
it shall be
minecart.
me!
Okay. Everybody can roll another perception with advantage because
I rolled
you
a 1 again!
yeah, you see a light being cast, and with a natural 1, you know this is the
6.
light. Actually, I need to roll this for him to see if he can actually do this. Yes, he can cast the magic light spell, which illuminates his cart coming towards you.
that
And-
looks like an Uncle Steve.
And it does illuminate Uncle Steve, which Thessalia can now recognize. But he seems to be trying to see exactly who's in the minecart. And then for perceptions, who succeeded?
I
Not
did.
me.
I got a 1.
I got a 6.
So Arkin, you also see Uncle Steve, the wizard. And you guys have basically one more round before the collision. What would you all like to do, if anything?
What are the sides next to the cart looking like?
Kind of like stone tunnel wall, or reinforced wood walls. It's like beams and 2x4s and stuff holding the dirt and rock up.
I mean, if our goal was to come here and take out Uncle Steve, then we should just full steam ahead, crash into him. But also, Uncle Steve's not that bad. He read me cartoons as a kid.
You rotted your mind with those cartoons. You could not even remember my grandmother.
I never knew your grandmother.
I would like to brace myself to get ready to, when collision is made, I would like to get ready to jump into Uncle Steve's cart.
So I was rolling personal thing, high or low, to figure out, do I decide to try to slow the cart down by pulling the emergency brake, or do I just let it go? Low was basically let it go, so basically I am getting ready to position myself to jump from the cart in the opposite direction of the cart going.
So jump out the back, basically. Abandon ship. Okay, so are you doing that this turn? This is your last turn before the collision.
Yeah. What is our wizard friend wanting to do there?
Okay, wait. Our goal was to go and find the evil wizard, and what were we supposed to do with the evil wizard?
I think they knew him as Axrek, the evil wizard who was going to wreak vengeance on their town. So find and exterminate, probably.
Right. I guess I'll slow us down a little. Like at this point, it's too late to stop us, I assume. But I'll slow it down so we don't crash quite as hard. Is my goal.
Okay, so you want to pull the e-brake?
Yeah.
You begin to screech, slowing down. Uncle.
And then I will bail.
Okay, so if you are jumping off, roll a dexterity check, and let me see if this counts as your specialty. For thief, it is roguish talent is not on there, so no, you do not get an advantage. However, because it is going slower, this d6 damage is at -2 for a net of 2 points of damage. Do you want to try to use any armor that you have?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and roll. I think you have 1 armor, or is it 2?
I have the AV2.
Okay, so I don't know if this is right, but just roll 2 dice, and then on a 1, it breaks.
So 2d6?
If you want to use 2d6, if you only want to use 1, I think you can choose. Okay, so yeah, you reduce the damage and kind of scuffle to the ground in a big rolling pile of dust. Eric, are you doing anything, or you wanted to try to jump towards his?
Yes, I would like to try and jump into Uncle Steve's cart.
Okay, that would take place basically at this round, because after Steve goes, it'd be the new round. So, and they will smash. So if you want to make a jump, that'll be a strength.
Okay. Oh, that is so close. That is a 12 under 13. That was almost bad.
So 12 under 13?
Yes, it is a success.
Yeah, that is close, because you jump just as the e-brake gets pulled, which causes the minecart to slow down, and you almost misjudge it as you jump. And it looks like you are going to make it into Steve's cart, but Steve seems to be doing the same thing as Arkin. And he is going to first cast a spell, which is a level 3 spell. I think it's level 3. Let me double check. Web is a level 2 spell, so this is a d20 plus 2. He has to beat a 14. He does not. He fails. But he has already jumped, but his spell does not go off. And he is going to... He did not slow down the cart. So he needs to take 1d6 without a... Ooh, that's really, really lucky for him.
Yeah, it is.
So he skids to the ground, raking his knees. He's got like road rash all up and down, and he moans and groans as... one thing I did not roll is his hit points as a wizard. As 50% of his health is just shredded away by the rock.
Okay. Sorry.
What do you want to do? You did one thing so far by pulling the thing, so technically you have one more like action.
I can wait for a second, but I want to just cast sleep on Uncle Steve and then like carry him out of here and bring him to justice.
You can cast sleep on him. That would be an action to like do your spell. So go ahead and roll your, I think it's intelligence for wizards.
Yeah.
And sleep is a level 2 spell, so add +2.
Wait. Add +2 to my intelligence?
To the die roll, so it's like a penalty. If I'm understanding this right, let me double check that. Magic casting. A spellcaster spends an action on their turn to cast a spell. Once the effects of the spell have been resolved, the spellcaster should make an attribute test adding the spell's or prayer's level to the roll if they already... Oh. So I think you cast the spell automatically, and then you roll to see if you...
Oh, see if I forget about it?
Which means his web spell would have actually worked. Adding the spells... If they fail, the spell or prayer is no longer memorized. So yeah, so you automatically can cast sleep, and he automatically could have cast web, which would have entangled him in and saved his health. So he's still at 2 hit points. So he like jumps off his thing and forgets the spell. He cannot use web again. And then you can cast sleep.
I can cast sleep.
Yeah, and then you'd forget it until you redo it. Yeah. So for sleep, you roll the wizard's hit die. Nearby creatures with fewer hit points than rolled fall asleep. Husts. Okay, so your wizard hit die I think is a D4, right? Yeah.
I think so.
So roll a D4.
Where's... Okay, I swear my D4 has like evaporated.
It grew human legs and arms.
It grew human legs and feet. What are you talking about?
I really hope you roll a 2 because that's how many hit points he has. Mm-hmm. How many hit points does Arkin and Eric have?
I rolled a 4.
After the skid behind the cart, getting out, I am down to 2 HP of my 3.
I have 8.
So Eric is going to be fine. Arkin, I don't think you took any damage because you rolled because it was 4 minus 2, so it was 2 net damage, and you rolled a 3. So you don't have any, but
right, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but the sleep spell, if you rolled a 4, then both Arkin and Uncle Steve both fall asleep.
Look, she looks over at Eric and kind of like shrugs, like clearly she neither thinks she is good at this nor is very good at this, given her confidence issue. I'm just gonna kind of shrug.
You look at Eric. I imagine he's midair.
Yeah, he is midair and about to land in the other minecart.
Eric, you're like, I believe I can fly.
So
I just imagine he like lands face down, feet up.
He lands just at the front of the minecart, and Steve snores amidst his webs that he's all caught up in, and Arkin is kind of just picking himself up and then falls back down asleep. And then the two mine carts will collide. Smash. So
before they collide, when Eric jumps into the cart, he shouts out,
Uncle Steve, have at thee!
So both of you rolled dexterity checks.
Nope.
I failed.
What? Everybody goes flying. This is going to be not just fall damage, but the actual impact damage, which will say, I don't know if I have the collision.
And everyone gets killed by minecarts.
It's either D6 or D8 for, I'm just going to say D6 for the fall and D1, D6 for the damage. So you can both roll your armor dice for this if you want. I think armor dice I'm doing wrong because armor is being really, really powerful.
What is my armor?
Roll my armor.
You have one ceremonial headdress, which is an armor value of 1. I think what the armor value is, I'm gonna just say, is it's like a fixed 1 point of like damage reduction, rather than an actual armor die.
More sense.
Yeah, I think so too, because otherwise it's just really powerful. Armor proficiency. This is the only thing I can find for it. If a character wears armor that is not listed in their class, they should add its armor value to the d20 result when making any attribute test. So maybe armor value just doesn't apply for anything. And armor dice, like, because as a warrior, your warrior equipment page says you can get a scale tunic, which is an armor value 2, and a one-handed weapon and a large shield, the shield being +1 armor die. So it does separate them.
I think I found it. Armor. Each piece of... So I would have... So because I have a shield and I have a scale tunic, each piece of armor a character wears gives the player a pool of armor dice. Each armor die is a d6, and the number of d6s in the pool is equal to the armor value of the armor worn. If a character fails to defend or would take damage, they can take 1 armor die out of the pool, put it to one side, and declare it broken. In return, this allows all damage from that attack or effect to be ignored. Armor dice that have been broken and put to one side cannot be used to ignore any further damage.
Which page is that on?
Looking at the PDF, that is attacking, defending, and damage on page 11.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's way earlier than everything else I've been looking at.
So because my armor broke on the fall, I would go from 3 armor dice to 2 because my shield and my armor.
Why is it an armor die at all then, as a d6?
Who knows?
Okay, well. Does that mean Thessalia has a ceremonial headdress of an AV1? She's got 1 die, right?
That would mean 1d6, yes.
Okay, so...
And you can choose to have that break to ignore all damage taken from... But that says from an attack. I don't know how you would want to...
From fall damage, technically, for 3 points of fall damage, that will not kill either of you. So...
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just take it.
I think, yeah, you're only wearing armor on your head, and so the rest of your body, unfortunately...
I'm only wearing a helmet, guys.
Classic motorcycler issue.
So I have an armor value of 2.
Yeah, do you want to take the 3 points, or do you want to...
I will take the 3.
Okay, so you get some road rash too. And then swoosh, crash, tumble, tumble, tumble. The 2 mine carts are all just like broken upside down.
Uncle Steve is asleep.
would like to go up to Uncle Steve. I approach Uncle Steve and I pat the dear wizard on the shoulder and I say, Uncle Steve, I have some questions for Uncle Steve.
He's asleep. Don't wake him up.
Perhaps, well, he looks quite stuck, and I have some questions for him.
Can I, look around the area to see if there's any, wizard shit in the area? Not actual shit from a wizard, but you know.
He's been pooping in this cave. He's been pooping.
You can roll a wisdom check, perception.
Ooh, that is a 1.
Yeah,
You and your wands.
You find.
I told you I'm terrible at rolling. Like I never have any reasonable combats for the players that I DM for because I roll like shit, and I'll try to make the combats more interesting, but I just can't roll.
Well, at least your bad rolls are good here.
So he has. Does anyone have a D12?
I have a D12.
So roll a D12, and then also someone roll a D100.
A 1.
Wow.
64.
So he has a book kind of tucked under his magic robes, and he has. You said it was 64.
Mm-hmm.
He has. That's really weird. As you're shifting his robes aside to kind of see the book, you find that on his chest is what looks like a giant tattoo of a mouth. But then as he snores, the mouth on his chest goes... And,
Thanks, I hate it.
There's a giant mouth there. And let me see.
I always knew he talked out of his ass, but you know.
He has some other stuff. I think he's got cloth robes. He's got an oak staff. He's got a sword stuck in his belt. He's got an purple arcane creature's egg. It's like swirling with purple dark energy. And then
Can I
he's
just
got
steal his book? I just want his book.
You can if you just want to take his book.
My book.
The book is titled in a different language. You can roll intelligence.
It's an 8, and my intelligence is 16.
Okay. You can decipher it. It's a language that you've studied before. It's a dead language that is titled The Mad Monks of Dardholaram. And it's definitely some sort of cult religious texts that he was probably read and absorbed by and now wanting to curse villages.
You know, if I was gonna guess which of my uncles going to become a weird cult leader, you know, I don't think it would have been Uncle Steve, but it makes sense.
Well, dear wizard, now that you have his evil book, should you become like Uncle Steve, I would be rather disappointed in you.
Well, I was debating whether or not I should just burn it. I have a torch. Oh wait, it went out. I have theoretically a torch that I could burn it with.
You spent some good money
Theoretical
on it.
torches do not equal real torches, dear wizard. Take that lesson from your good friend.
He also has 3 coins on him.
Ooh, my coins now. Now I got 10 coins.
I would like to take the creature egg. I've always wanted a pet.
They're pretty great. I look over at Todd.
Now, where is our dear thief? Did you see what happened to him?
Hey, Fifi.
Is there anything I can roll for sleep?
I think sleep.
Or is it just
Roll to
MS
snore.
spell?
For wizard, a sleep spell lasts UD6 minutes. I'm not sure what U means. Let me see if I can find.
Unlimited plus D6 more minutes.
We'll just say D8 minutes. So that is 8 minutes. Of which 2 have probably already passed by. So you can wake him up if you guys want, and then just. But that
Sure,
that also.
Let's wake Arcan up, because, he doesn't need to be asleep the entire time.
I also would like to wake up Uncle Steve.
Okay.
But I wanna.
Do
I
not
guess we've already
worry,
looked
dear
through his
wizard.
face.
We have already stolen Uncle Steve's goods. You are not a kind niece.
I mean, he wasn't a kind uncle. It's balanced out.
Now, I shall awaken Uncle Steve. I must have a word with him.
Okay. Can I awaken him by getting my angry head to scream in his ear?
Yes. I should make him take psychic damage. No, he wakes up, but then he's also like stuck in his web that he had cast.
I'm assuming I was awoken as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shriek definitely you wake up too.
I see Uncle Steve. I say,
Aha! Greetings, Uncle Steve. I must have a word with you in this fine tunnel.
Who are you?
I am Eric the Broken, and this here is my dear friend, my dear wizard. Greetings.
I am Axelrak. You should put me down out of these webs and Thessalia?
Oh, hi, Uncle Steve.
What are you doing here?
Well, we were sent to go fight an evil wizard, and then I was jokingly like, I wonder if it's Uncle Steve. But I guess you're an evil wizard now?
Come
on, Uncle Steve.
Simply, I'm the chosen follower of the Mad Monks of Daholaram, and you should join my cult and get me out of these webs.
I'm not gonna do either of those things right now. Perhaps don't become a cultist, maybe?
The mouth in his chest just says, "Release me."
Oh.
Don't mind him.
The mouth in your chest.
He's don't mind that. It's nothing. And he pulls the cloak over himself.
From my inventory, I'm going to take out my unopened orders, and I am going to open it, and I'm going to begin reading it. He holds out a piece of paper in front of him, and he says,
Now, Uncle Steve, I have orders here from the Mage Society. They have been trying to reach you for some time now about your magic book warranty, and I have been sent on a special mission to take back your coin. Where do you keep your hoard, you evil wizard who dares to hide from the taxes of the Mage Society?
This is impossible! And he reaches for his coin purse and realizes it's gone. It must be the village. They probably took all of my money, and that is one of the reasons I must go and conquer the village.
What if you just, didn't conquer the village?
What if you just paid your dues to the Mage Society?
One thing leads to the other, and the Mad Monks of Dardor would be so happy if I were just to burn that whole village to the ground. And then I could take the coin and pay my fees.
What if you just got a normal job like a normal person and wasn't a freak with a mouth in their stomach? Like your good old niece here, my dear wizard.
I mean, I don't really feel like I have a real job either, but, I don't have a mouth in my stomach. And she, pulls up or down her shirt, depending on whatever, and is like, see, don't have mouth on stomach.
Yeah, if you read the book in chapter 7, it will tell you all about that.
Yeah, not.
Can I see the book?
Oh yes, where are my manners, Uncle Steve? This is dear thief.
Where did he come from?
Where did he go?
Where did he come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Thief.
he's
So
going.
if she gives me the book, I'm going to
Yeah, I'll
burn
give
it.
you the book.
I take the book, I open the lantern, and burn the book and toss it to the ground, just out
No!
of the guy's reach, letting it burn in front of him.
He is going
Knowing
to try to
knowing
cast
that
a
that was one of
spell.
my goals as well. Can I try to cast charm on him as I see him start to cast the spell?
Yes, he is slower because he's entangled in his web, so you can try to cast charm.
I just want. I don't actually know what charm does. I think I can tell him to do something.
Yeah, so charm is the monster or nearby NPC obeys a simple command and will perform a simple action, and then you have to roll the intelligence +1.
Can my simple command just be like, nuh-uh, don't?
Sit tight.
Yeah, that's
The
totally.
simple command is just don't.
Yeah, he's like magic meow.
I rolled an 8, so I keep it.
Yep.
Or I'm able to remember it.
Yes, so you can keep charming as needed.
Cool. I'm gonna charm him and say, nuh-uh.
He
That's-
watches in anguish as Arkan begins to burn the book with the oil lamp. The book is incinerated.
Now, Uncle Steve, you see, there's quite a life outside of just being an evil wizard. Could start up your own tavern and name it after all your wibbity-wonkity spells and serve drinks to people. In fact, there's a life out there for all evil creatures. You see, I sent your skeletons to the town in order to become workers.
What? The skeletons were... I thought you killed them. They were supposed to kill anybody who came to interrupt me in my magical rituals.
Yeah,
They were
me and
quite
the Skelly
friendly.
Boys are friends.
And
I'm
now
gonna-
they're
I'm gonna
going to
public
earn an
goblin.
honest day's pay.
This is outrageous. It
So
is
are you, Uncle
outrageous.
Steve. You know what?
What is outrageous is the lack of wages you pay your skeletons.
Ooh, snap.
He-
And I'm gonna also make the goblin head go, ooh, snap, as well.
He will fold his arms and pout and then say, "Fine, I'll go open up a tavern and everybody can roll a wisdom check."
Oof. Nope. It's a nope for me.
Oh, that is a yes for me. I got a 5 under a 13.
He's lying.
I mean,
You know, Uncle Steve, I don't quite like liars.
I'm not lying.
If you lie to Eric the Broken, you'll learn why they call me that.
wait, I thought you were broken this whole time. I thought there was something wrong. You mean that you break other things?
Well, it kind of goes both ways. My reputation is in shit, and I also break people.
I just assumed you were broken, buddy, and you just needed like somebody to help fix you. You just needed to go to therapy or something.
Well, yes, that is kind of part of it. Yes, you see, my grandmother is dead. It is quite a sad time.
We'll get you some grief therapy later. Now, Uncle Steve, is there anything we can do about this whole like mouth in your chest?
If you had read the book chapter 7, it would have told you the... Never mind. No, I'll just
Maybe it
keep
just
it covered
needs-
up.
Maybe it just needs a good snack. You know, my grandmother makes the greatest sandwiches. Now, Uncle Steve, could you bring my grandmother back to make you a sandwich? She does make really good finger foods.
I think that was in chapter 9, was the necromancy chapters.
She made the greatest peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Maybe you should learn to make your own peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Maybe then you wouldn't be so broken.
I don't know how to make peanut butter.
Oh, well, you don't need to make your own peanut butter. Did your grandma make your own peanut butter?
Yes.
I'm pretty
I mean,
sure
it-
you just finely crush peanuts.
I was about to say it's actually not that hard to make peanut butter. I think you can do it, big guy.
Uncle Steve
have
is
full
going
faith in
to get out of his webs finally.
Uh,
Dust himself off.
He will find a sword by his throat.
Excuse me. I believe I should return to the village and open up a tavern and give them my apologies.
Uncle Steve, can you make peanut butter?
I can indeed.
Wonderful! You shall
I'm
come
gonna
with
roll
me
wisdom.
then, and I will give you excellent wages in order to make me peanut butter. You will not have to be evil. You can travel with me.
How many coins per week?
Well, it depends on how you behave. You have been quite evil, Uncle Steve. We will start at 1 coin, and if you act kind to myself, my dear thief, and my dear wizard, and make us excellent peanut butter, we shall see about increasing it to 2 coins.
Arkin's going to whisper into Uncle Steve's ear. And if I catch you doing anything wrong, harming anyone, or trying to harm us, you won't see me coming.
Yeah, Uncle Steve, I know that this seems like shitty kind of indentured service kind of stuff, but like we're also your other option would be just that we came in and kill you, and I feel like this is like still a plus. And like maybe we could renegotiate if you stop being evil Uncle Steve and just become regular Uncle Steve, you know?
I
You
feel
could
like
even
this is very good.
think of it like this. You could stop being evil Uncle Steve. You don't have to be good Uncle Steve, but you could be Master Peanut Butter Maker Uncle Steve.
Ooh.
How about all of you roll charisma checks?
Okay, I got a 7.
Ah.
Nope.
11, which is 1 over.
So he nods and says, "You all have very good points. It is very much better for me to give up this cult nonsense and go with you to make peanut butter." And he is most agreeable towards this idea.
Well, I mean, at least we didn't have to kill him. So, you know, it's
Wonderful.
fine.
Now, Uncle Steve, let us get out of this dank cave.
And Eric's gonna slam his arm around his shoulder and say,
You must tell me about these cartoons you showed to your niece.
Oh, yes, those. Of course I will show you cartoons. And as you begin to hike out of the tunnel, because it takes a while with all the mine cars being broken, but you make your way eventually back to the cave mouth. And you get to the point of needing to descend down the rock. And he forgot his spell web, so he can't make a trampoline at the bottom anymore. How do you want to get down?
Well,
Also, I'll just draw the ledge in like this. And then
Eric the Broken is gonna cup his hands together and he's gonna shout out. He's just gonna shout across the valley.
Kind skeletons, we need your services once more. Hear my voice and come to the cliffside.
roll a charisma check.
Oh my god, that's a 2 under a 7.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Is everybody just kind of standing there at the entrance?
yeah. Not doing anything.
Okay. You hear coming up is the 6 skeletons begin to start like their march coming out of the forest.
Now, you see, Uncle Steve, you just need to treat your employees with kindness, and they'll help you when needed.
Very, very good. He is going to step over here, and he's going to violently try to push Arkin off the ledge. Roll a defense. Dexterity.
Success.
Okay,
So-
you dodge his push.
And I'm going to flip him over.
Okay. So roll a power, not power, a strength.
And I'm using his momentum against him. Success!
So he goes.
Literally just to, using his own momentum against him, I just flip him off the cliffside.
Yep. Who would like to roll 1d6 points of damage?
I
Your-
can. 4 damage.
He,
You
Somewhat
did?
for evil Uncle Steve.
yeah, his head snaps.
I always knew he was evil Uncle Steve, but I was kind of hoping that he might just be able to be Uncle Steve.
He
Well,
picked the wrong one to try to
well
push off the side.
now, dear thief, you owe me some peanut butter.
We can
I'll
get you
you
some in
peanut
town.
butter. Yeah, we'll get you some. It's okay.
The
But hey, look, we now have a skeleton army of 6.
No, not an army. They will be our friends, and they will work at the town.
But we have a skeleton crew, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think-
Skeleton crew.
And yeah, I think they just meant like army in the same way of like an army of frogs.
Who uses army of frogs? This is another evil wizard, you know?
I wonder if we can use their shields like a slide.
This time they climb up in like standing on each other's shoulders formation, like a triangle, but it only goes about halfway up, and then the top one like tries to figure out how to climb up. It's like a 50.
I will meet you halfway, Mr. Skeleton. And I will begin working my way down.
Oh no, I'm just picturing a bowling scene, a vertical bowling scene, where he just falls and just takes them all down in a strike.
Roll strength.
Okay.
10 points.
That unfortunately matches.
Yeah.
Bump. You will fall on the. Let me think how this would work. Oh, what happened?
I was rolling for my climb since I have advantage.
Oh, okay. So
I got success. So
Okay.
I'm just like climbing down to the side,
yeah.
out of the way of them.
So Eric, you fall down onto the skeletons. I'll say because it's only the half height, this will not be that much. This will be at -4. So you would take 1 point of damage, and then the skeletons all fall down in a big pile, with you amongst them.
Like I said, it's a strike.
Um,
I'm gonna wait for them to like
you-
re-rumble.
Are you alive?
I am.
Okay. Let me see if they take any damages too. Nope, they're all not damaged enough to die.
I dust myself off and I say,
Ah, yes, wonderful catch, Mr. Skeletons. Thank you very much.
They begin to climb back up into formation and move over here.
I'm going to remove Evil Uncle Steve's head from his body for extra precautions because, necromancy BS. And as
Well, now
proof of
that
that,
is just barbaric.
As you're doing that, his tummy grumbles and you hear, "You bitch! You stop cutting off his head! What are you doing?"
I take my sword and stab it to the guts. And that's exactly why I'm removing the head.
It continues to grumble at you as you decapitate it. Thessalia, the skeleton's waiting for you.
Oh, great. Nope, that's a failure. They all fall down.
This will also be at -4. Which is enough where you're a lighter character, much less heavy than Eric the Broken. And while you all topple to the ground and you're rattled, or you just hear the bones all rattling and clinking together, you're surrounded by just skeletons. But you climb up and you're fine.
I'm gonna have Dabo the Goblin Head say, "Thanks, friend."
All 6 skeletons salute.
But yeah, after removing the head, I'm burning the body.
Okay. The skeletons all kind of like go in a circle around him, and the few that have like helmets on, take them off and hold it up against their chest, like ceremoniously. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
You know, skeletons, you had quite a horrible boss.
You see them nodding.
But you are now free, skeletons. As I said, you follow us, you shall see work at town. You will earn your wages fair and square, unlike evil Uncle Steve here who paid you nothing.
They put their helmets back on and wait for you to lead the way.
Dear wizard, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I guess we just go back to locale now?
I believe so. We have peanut butter waiting for us.
I wrap the severed head into a sack, making sure that the body is fully burned before putting out the fire.
Yep, it's just bones remain in the char pit, and no flesh, no mouth. It seems to have been gone, and you just have the head.
Yep, and like I said, I'm taking that back in a sack as proof that the job was done.
Okay.
I'm just gonna like scoop up a tiny amount of the ashes, just to be like, I'm just gonna send them back to the family, so that they have something to bury.
Yep. So you make your way back through the darkened wood and eventually back to the town of Locale, where you are met by the mayor of the town, who's frowning at Eric as you make their way through the trees, and then he begins to panic as the skeletons come out behind you and the rest of the party. And yeah, you guys return back. What do you do? He seems very nervous.
Shout out, do not mind, Mr. Mayor, we dealt with your problem, and we brought back some friends. You see, these skeletons were working for an evil wizard, an evil Uncle Steve, but I have convinced them to give up the life of evil and instead offer labor for the town.
I toss the sack at his feet.
He panics as the head rolls out.
Is there any way that I can use my charm spell to convince him that this isn't the weirdest shit he's ever seen?
You can. So the spell would go off. He'd be affected by it. And you just roll your intelligence plus the 1.
Oh, I still got it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I have a disadvantage, don't I?
Yeah, because it's the second time.
I still got it.
Okay. So he begins to calm down. He's like, "My goodness.
You need to calm down.
You adventurers, I never know what to expect. You, Eric, you stay away from my son. But thank you for all of the good work and the labor force." And then he goes to inspect the skeletons.
You must know, your son did start the fight, but that is not here or there. I brought you workers. Hopefully that has redeemed myself in this town of Locale.
We could hire them as guardsmen. Yes, guardsmen. Grave diggers. What? We've never had an undead labor force before.
As long as they are paid fair wages, you may put them in any position, I would imagine.
Well, we shall put them...
I'm sure they'll make great night watches as well.
Yes, I believe we shall put them into the guard watch. Yes. Do they have any names?
Well, this is Carlos and Samuel and Felipe and Cynthia. And how many are left?
There's 2 more.
And this is Skull Crusher.
And Eric the Second.
Skull Crusher Bone Smash.
Well, it's we shall put them to work at the town guard, and
the one named Skull Crusher Bone Smash is the smallest of the skeletons.
so we have, yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch the recording to see what these characters, these skeletons' names are, because, yeah, they all salute the mayor and decide to go to work. And for you all character, all of you all gain a level, which would entail rolling all of your attributes, and you want to try to roll above the attribute this time. Let me...
Nope. Wait. What am I supposed to be doing? Rolling.
So you roll a d20 for each attribute. If you roll over it, you increase the attribute by 1 point. And then you make, for the warrior, you get to roll with advantage for one attribute of your choice. For the thief, you make an extra roll, so advantage for either your dexterity or your wisdom. And for the wizard, you get to roll with advantage for your intelligence or your wisdom as well.
So for me, I could just click on the stats. If it's a failure on the roll, then it's above.
It's yes.
So strength. Nope. Dex. Nope.
I got
let's do
my
Dex.
first 3 stats all increased, and then nothing else.
Nice. For the warrior, you gain a damage die, a hit die, and you roll 1d8 with advantage to gain more hit points.
My constitution went up with a nat 20.
That's a good time for that to roll.
Only my dexterity and my constitution went up.
Okay. And then roll your d8 with advantage for your hit points, Eric. And then for the thief, gain 1 hit die and roll 1d6 and gain that many maximum additional hit points.
Okay, so constitution and intelligence went up. Everything else did not. You were saying roll a d6?
Yeah. For you, roll a d6 and gain that many hit points.
Are you kidding? So it's 2.
I don't.
Right?
Is it? No, I think it's just 1.
Because it's like +1.
When you level up, gain 1 hit die, roll 1d6 and gain that many additional maximum HP. So
I got, once again, 1.
Yeah, so you have a total of 4 hit points now.
I got 3. My HP went up from 8 to 11.
And for our wizard, if you roll 1 hit die of 1d4 and gain that many.
Yep, I did that.
Okay,
I got 3.
That will give you. I'd have to look up the rules for learning more spells and stuff. Probably it would just give you like another 3 spells because you stole Steve's spell book. But yeah, that will conclude this playtest one-shot of the Black Hack 2 2nd edition.
Would 100% play again.
Oh yeah, I would love to bring back Eric, who is now Eric the Redeemed.
Eric the Redeemed.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
so there's a reason Arkin is known as the Shadow, because with his squishiness, he hides in the shadows and strikes.
It's the only way to survive.
Hey, it's worked the entire game.
Well, fun. You guys I hope everybody had fun. You guys were successful in the mission, and you got 6 Skelly boys that you were able to just relocate. That was cool.
Yep.
Alrighty.
And evil Uncle Steve is no more.
Poor evil Uncle Steve. I mean, evil was in his name, so, it's not that sad.
He decided to take a dive.
Yeah.
He did a bad.
Nobody was successful in that last persuasion charisma check, so he had secret plots.
I was suspicious that he was following it.
He literally picked the wrong person to try to shove.
You're the one who said you'd cut his head off or something, so he's like, kill you first.
I warned him. Had he tried to do any harm to us, I would kill him.
He should have done magic
Okay.
missile on you, because especially the way these ones work, if it's auto hit and then you have to, it would have been 1d6 damage. That could have
Yeah.
killed you, but he didn't know.
That one would have done it.
He didn't know you
but-
were squishy. He was like, the fall will kill him. So,
And just for good measure, I took off the head and burned the body because we ain't messing around with that shit.
yeah, well, you live to fight another day. I'm going to end the recording. Thank you for playing this last minute, poorly prepped and prepared
Thank
game.
you for running.
It was random and
Yeah.
fun. I missed gaming, so you all stepped up and we saved Saturday night. Got a
Yep, I had
fun
a-
little thing.
I had a game earlier that ended up getting canceled, so that worked out perfectly for me.
Awesome. Well, y'all have a good night, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
I'm a